Okay, I'm coming across lots of neat stuff. This will bring back memories for some people. That's an old antenna off a car I had many years ago. This thing was vandal proof. See that? It's on a spring. Hit this with a baseball bat and see how far you get. You know, I remember these kinds of antennas on cars when I was a little boy. And I had a car with one of them on it. Obviously I kept it. I never scrapped a car without keeping different parts of it, it seems. I don't think the junk man ever got a complete car from me. Just bits and pieces of whatever I didn't want. This here is really neat. This here was actually made by somebody. I bought it at a sale one time. And what this is made out of, see all those little drawers there? What this is these are drill bits, as you can see. But what this is it's cigarette flats. The old cigarette flats people used to get, the old tin boxes with cigarettes in them. See, right there's the hinge where the lid would attach. And the handles are the caps from lantern batteries. Remember the old square lantern batteries where you would undo the thing a bit and put the wire in underneath and then tighten it on the wire and you could run a lantern off it? Well, that's what these are. These are the caps from lantern batteries. Those are all cigarette flats. He painted some of them black. I'm thinking he must have had to replace a couple of them and couldn't be bothered to paint them black at some point. Couldn't be bothered painting them, so he just put them in there like that. Anyway, basically it's made from garbage. What was garbage back then, anyway. But I think that's pretty neat. Made from stuff you'd normally just throw away when it was used up. You know, when the battery was used up, you'd throw it away with the caps on it, with the little screw caps on it. And when you finished smoking the cigarettes, you'd throw the cigarette flat away. So yeah. Anyway, I should be able to get this out of here now. There's more tools in the top of it. It's going to be heavy, but I should be able to do it. Anyway, another thing I want to show you is this table here. There's a really neat story behind this table. This table is all hand painted. I've kept it because there's a connection for me with somebody. And basically, when I lived above the Royal Bank in Perth, there was an old woman who lived in there. Her name was Tula, and she had a last name. It was one of those long Eastern European last names that you could only pronounce it if you come from that place, you know. And she was a mystic. She could read people's auras and all that business, you know. Anyway, Tula was almost completely alone in the world by that time. She was a survivor of a concentration camp. She had actually been in a concentration camp in World War II. Very, very wonderful old soul, very sweet lady. And she had, well, the landlord was a psychopath, and he was constantly threatening her and bullying her and stuff. And there were some tenants in there too. There was one guy in there who was heavy into drugs and partying all night long and stuff, and he was another one that was bullying her. And so I kind of looked out for her anyway. There were times when I advocated for her and stuff like that, you know, where I spoke up on her behalf and whatnot, because she was being treated real bad. And I figure somebody who survived everything that she has survived, or had survived, she's passed away a long time ago now, but I figure anybody like that deserves a little bit of respect, at least in their old age, and she didn't seem to get very much. The predators, you know, the vultures were just circling all the time around her. It was terrible. Anyway, the story behind this table is, after she passed away, I was given the key to her apartment to empty it out. And I was told I could dispose of things as I saw fit. So I threw some stuff away. I gave some stuff to people I knew would need it, and I knew she'd approve of that, you know. But I was told this table had been a gift to her from somebody many years before, and they had painted it all by hand for her. And so I kept that anyway. And It's kind of a special thing to me. It's sad that it got kind of scarred up in places. It wasn't scarred up like that when I got it. It was in perfect shape, but because of everything that's happened in my life, the table has gotten all scarred up, just like pretty much everything else about me is all scarred up. I'm all scarred up, but everything I own is all scarred up too. And so the table didn't escape that fate anyway. It got scarred up as well. But, yeah, anyway, that's the story there. Oh, my cash box is all scarred up. Look at that. Holy smokes. Anyway, that's the story behind the table anyway. That belonged to my old friend Tula. And she's finally at rest. She died, I think she was 92 when she died. She was the lady when I complained to my landlord about there not being any heat and hot water in our building because he'd turned it off. He had our heat and hot water off for 2 years. And I complained to him about that. And I brought her up. I brought Tula up. I said, these conditions could kill her. They're making me miserable, but they could kill her. And he bellowed at me. He said, Tula is nothing but a whining old C-U-N-T, So that's the kind of contempt that she had to deal with from people anyway. Didn't deserve it. But anyway, there you go. But like I say, poor old table's gotten scarred up just like everything else I own. Really, looking at this stuff, you'd think my whole house was just a workshop, but there actually is house stuff back there. There is. There's actually a refrigerator behind that cabinet and under that little end table there. But you'd hardly know it with everything at the front is all pretty much old car parts and tools and stuff. But there actually is a whole house load of stuff beyond there that you can't see from here. Alright, I'm going to take this down now anyway. Yeah, poor Tula. Actually, I'll tell you the story behind that while we're here anyway. Tula, how she ended up in the concentration camp Tula was a British citizen of Greek extraction. Now, she was born in England. She never had any part of Greece. It was relations of hers that had come over here from Greece many years before. So she was of Greek heritage, but that was about it. She really was an English person, Well, when World War II started, for some odd reason, the British government decided they wanted to repatriate all the Greek people back to Greece. Well, she wasn't a Greek, really, but because she was of Greek extraction, she got caught up in it. She got sent back to Greece. And anyway, somehow she ended up, after that, in a concentration camp. And she survived. When she came out of the concentration camp, she was put into a forced marriage. It was basically like an arranged marriage by her family. That was another miserable ordeal. That didn't work out very well. She never told me all this. It was another lady that knew her that told me the full story. A lady that had known her since the 1950s that told me the full story. But Tula never complained, really, very much, other than just about what was happening in the moment. If she was being picked on by somebody in the moment or whatever, then she'd tell me, and I would do my best to see if that didn't continue, But, and I'd look in on her, make sure she was all right. If she needed anything, if she needed help moving something, or if she needed help fixing something or whatever, I'd do that for her. Whenever the fire alarm would go off in the building, which happened quite regularly, just with no fire, it would just happen, I would go to see her and let her know that what was going on. I'd find out why the fire alarm was going off, and I'd go and see her and let her know why, and reassure her that if the situation changed and there was a true emergency, I'd come back and get her, because she really couldn't move very much. She was blind and she was very fragile, It would have been a terrible hardship for her to come down out of the building, went down all the stairs and stuff. So I basically just kept the watch on her and made sure she was all right. That's all, and let her know that if it turned out that there was some real reason for the fire alarm, I would make sure that she got out, Anyway, that's it. We talk to you later.